What is up, ProGuides family, and welcome back to our mid-patch update video. This video, as you guys know, has all the statistics backing up our tier list, so it's pretty accurate. Pick these champions up to stomp on your opponents and start winning more games. I want to give a huge shout out to you guys who joined Zyrene's class yesterday. You guys did an awesome job. We actually posted the highlight on our Instagram channel, so make sure to check that out if you want to see it. And if you guys want to join in the fun yourselves, then come join us at 10:30 a.m. PST and 4:30 p.m. PST. We're all stuck inside, so it should be a fun way to pass the time together. All right, guys, let's get into the video. First things first, let's talk about my home, the top lane. Okay, so I'm not gonna tease you guys. Let's kick this video off by talking about Wukong. For the top lane, Wukong is going to be placed in our S+ tier. He currently holds a 54% win rate as a top laner and a 41% ban rate. This guy is broken. Now, the thing about ban rate is that it carries over into the jungle as well, but he actually gets played more as a top laner. I think it's fair to say that at least 20% of those bans are aimed at him in the top lane, and that is pretty high. Not only is he successful but somewhat popular champion, he's also one that players don't want to play against right now. For reference, his win rate has shot up by 4%, and his play rate is more than 7 times what it was last patch. Even Zyrene is playing Wukong in the jungle. Go watch that live stream that we did if you want to catch him playing with all of you guys. Overall, this was a successful rework at making him popular, but now the real question is whether or not Riot can tone him down to a reasonable level, which I'm crossing my fingers for. On top of all this, we've introduced Kalista into our S tier, but this is a big but. She's probably not going to be free LP. You really have to know what you're doing. She's not that easy, and she requires solid communication with a jungler to pull off successfully, so in solo queue, sometimes that's not going to work. We have a video on Kalista top, so I want you guys to check it out before you run it down in your next game after locking her in. If you watch our other videos, you know that we don't make disclaimers like this that often, and for good reason. Kalista holds a 44% win rate because most people are not playing her properly. Watch our video on her, practice with a buddy, and then go into duos with them. That's how you'll probably get those free wins. For our S+ tier, we have Darius, Fiora, and Wukong. These champions have an insane amount of agency over their games, as well as incredible statistics to back them up. If you're gold or lower, throw Garen in there as well. Otherwise, Garen will be joining our S tier for the top lane, alongside Mordekaiser, Shen, Kled, Set, and Kalista, like we just mentioned. There really weren't too many balance changes made this patch aside from the changes to teleport. Unsurprisingly, we also don't have any changes since our initial patch rundown last week. Okay, that's it for the top lane. Let's move on to the jungle. Alright guys, same drill. Let's just put in Wukong. I know a lot of you guys are curious about him, so I'll just let you know that he's placed in our S tier for the jungle as well. Once again, he holds a 41% ban rate, which is huge. I think that those changes to his R especially have made him into a very terrifying jungle to play against. He can knock his opponents up twice now with his ultimate, meaning that his presence in the jungle has increased significantly as well. His win rate in the jungle has shot up to 51%, and his play rate has also taken a turn for the better. Overall, we're making some slight adjustments across the jungle in response to newer data that's coming in. Otherwise, both our S+ and S tier remain untouched. Elise, Warwick, and Zac retain their footing as 3 extremely powerful picks in our S+ tier, with Lee Sin, Olaf, Rek'Sai, Karthus, Shaco, Trundle, Nunu, Echo, and Wukong not too far behind. Although this is an extensive list for the S tier, all of these champions are excellent picks in solo queue. They all have their own unique ways to impact their lanes, as well as particular parts of the game. Those are some generic buzzwords that could apply to every champion, but our analysts believe that these champions in particular are the best within their own niche. For example, Olaf and Trundle are the kings of early aggression. They have a ton of favorable matchups, and it's nearly impossible to beat them in isolated 1v1 situations. Next, let's talk about some other shifts. We've moved up Hecarim to the A tier. That small buff to his ultimate did quite a bit. At best, he gets a 2-second AoE fear. 2 whole seconds is a long time, and it buys Hecarim a lot more time to vamp back up with his W. We've also shifted Gragas into the B tier because he hasn't been performing too hot in solo queue. He's definitely a power pick, but most players aren't finding success with him, likely because he doesn't have it as nice as a ton of other picks who are either easier or simply stronger. Still not a bad one by any means, but if you're serious about climbing right now, we'd suggest picking someone else. There are plenty of other junglers with great ganks and dives like Elise or Rek'Sai for example. We've also placed Morgana into the B tier. She's doing the best out of all the new junglers this patch and provides a lot of impact during champion select since players won't really know what's going on whenever she's picked early. Finally, Brand, Zyra, Shen, Teemo, and Yorick have all been placed into our D tier. Perhaps they'll need a little bit more time for players to figure them out, but as of now, they are not very good picks in the jungle. They don't have anything that makes them better than other picks and aren't safe enough to simply lock in. Okay, now let's talk about the mid laners. Our S plus and S tiers remain absolutely unchanged. In our S plus tiers, we have Fizz and Diana running rampant in solo queue. These two have so much power, and it feels that way in every single game they're in. Next up in the S tier, we have Kassadin, Katarina, Echo, Cassiopeia, Vladimir, Talon, Zed, Yasuo, and Qiyana. The only shift we see in this mid-patch update is Lux. We've moved her down to the C tier because she's been underperforming. Games are moving too fast for her, and while Lux is still a great pick maker, she doesn't come online until a bit later into the game. By then, the fate of games are already well decided in most cases. Under certain circumstances, such as a team lacking crowd control or requiring a pick maker, Lux is still a powerful pick. Overall though, she's not a great blind pick, as there are superior options to her at the moment. Of all the buffs that hit mid laners this patch, the most significant was Veigar's. He'll remain in the B tier, but could potentially make the push to the A tier very soon. His win rate has shot up to 51.4%, up from 50.3% last patch. A very minor buff bumped his win rate in all ELO brackets. Subjectively, he's an A tier pick for now, especially in low ELO. Games there are a lot slower, and Veigar loves slow games. He farms his Q, ends up with 1000 AP, and then he just 1v9s. Aside from that, he's also got his Cage, which is a great tool for picking out mispositioned opponents, especially in lower ELO. Alright guys, that's it for the mid lane. Let's talk about the bot lane next. The bottom lane's tier list will remain untouched completely from our initial patch rundown. Those Senna nerfs took a hit on her bot lane win rate, but she's still an incredibly powerful pick. Senna provides damage, an incredible late game presence, and a versatile array of utility for her teammates. As Fortune still wears the crown in the bot lane, she'll remain as the queen in the S plus tier with Senna, Ezreal, Vayne, Lucian, Caitlyn, Jinx, and Kai'Sa right below her in the S tier. By the way guys, Kog'Maw, though we've placed him in the B tier, has been destroying solo queue. He has a very low play rate however, so it's likely that he's being picked in good situations rather than him being oppressive. Currently, he holds a 53% win rate in the bot lane, likely because of how well he does versus tanks and bruisers. Definitely consider him as a pocket pick because he's an amazing pick in the right situations. My highlight of this patch, however, goes to Yasuo. The amount of damage ranged champions deal to turret plating went down a patch ago, and Yasuo is one of the only melee champions who holds their own in the bot lane at the moment. While this doesn't mean that Yasuo suddenly dominates the bot lane, it does mean that he wins more in already favorable matchups. I think both he alongside Kog'Maw are pretty underrated, and you guys should keep your eyes peeled during champion select for situations where you'd like to pick them. But do keep in mind that they are somewhat difficult. I mean, Kog'Maw is extremely squishy, and Yasuo is very mechanically hard, so unless you already know what you're doing with them, try them out in a normal game first. Alright guys, that's it for the bot lane. Let's go on to supports. Like our bottom lane tier list, nothing's changed for supports as well, except for Senna. Those nerfs took a hit on Senna for sure, but she was still strong enough as a bot laner to remain in the S tier. However, her support win rate, well, it's tanked significantly, dropping below 50% for the first time in forever. The nerfs have, without a doubt, made her weaker, but she's still a solid pick in many games, even as support. As before, Senna and Tahm Kench are still an insanely powerful duo. The Senna nerfs have brought its power down a little bit, but they still hold a 53% win rate together. Absolutely insane that even in the face of nerfs, this duo is still murdering their opponents on Summoner's Rift. In our S plus tier, we have Leona and Blitzcrank. Their ban rates remain insanely high, and the rest of their statistics are equally as impressive. We've dropped Nautilus down to the S tier. He's been underperforming in the past 3 patches in a row. Still an insanely powerful pick though. Just a little bit weaker than Blitzcrank and Leona. In our S tier, we have Thresh, Nautilus, Nami, Pyke, Morgana, Lulu, and Bard. Nami currently holds a 53% win rate. For all of you meta slaves that just want some free low, I'd say it's worth investing some time to learn her. She's really starting to gain some popularity, so some nerfs might be headed her way in the near future. Nami is a versatile pip with many different strengths and few weaknesses. Like any other enchanter support, she's squishy of course, but that's a very worthwhile trade-off when she both dominates lane and scales well. Sona also holds a 53% win rate, but her play rate is significantly lower than Nami's, which is why she'll remain in the A tier. A very similar pick for sure, and situationally one of the best because she outscales practically every other support. However, Sona is a bit more fragile and not as much of a bully. I'd heavily suggest picking up Alistar or Taric if you guys are looking for someone new. I think Alistar is slept on, while Taric is just so good against most meta supports. His sustained tankiness and scaling make him so difficult to answer. Alistar, on the other hand, is such an incredible diver and roamer. This guy creates so much pressure, and all you have to do is learn how to press W and Q in the right order. He's definitely a bang for your buck pick. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a crazy week. I know all of us are staying inside, and I just want to make sure that all of you guys are good, you guys are safe. Let me know down below how you guys are doing, how you've been affected by what's going on. We read all the comments. We'd love to see how you guys are doing. Once again, if you want to join Zyrene and play some games with us, you can find us streaming at 10:30 a.m. PST and 4:30 p.m. PST. Come and join in the fun. Hopefully you guys make the highlight reel. That's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck in your next few games, and I'll see you on the Rift.